Well, Mark, you've done an unbelievable job of keeping St. Bonaventure not just relevant, but a contender in the Atlantic 10. What's been the key to consistently keeping the Bonnies near the top of the A10 and in competition for an NCAA tournament berth?
Good players. My assistants have done a great job in bringing in kids a little bit under the radar, kids that love to play, kids that get better every year. And that's what we've done. Most of the guys that have stayed, so we get veteran players, and there's just kids that improve every year, work on their weaknesses. I feel we have a great strength and conditioning coach that does a great job with our guys. And up here, it's about basketball. It's getting those types of kids that love to play, that are in the gym all the time, and kids that improve. And that's what we try to do. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
At what point did you figure out that you had to do a little bit of a mix, transfers or international, that it couldn't just be, getting, high school seniors, developing and waiting 3 to 4 years?
That's the key. It's trying to figure out, once you first get the job, trying to figure out, what is the best way to go to be able to compete for an Atlantic 10 title. And, we can't, for the most part, especially early in our career here, that, go head to head with Dayton or VCU or St. Louis or, even, St. Joe's. So we try to do it a little bit differently. We try to get kids a little bit, under the radar, kids that we feel have a high upside. And we've gone all over the country, all over the world to get those guys. And like I said, you have to do it a little bit differently. It's like we can't get that top 100 player. We can't get that guy that, that VCU or Richmond's recruiting. I think we've done a really good job on evaluating kids and really looking at where they're going to be a year, 2 years down the road. And we want to try to get kids that in a year or so, coaches like, man, how'd you get that kid? And, and you tell them it's like, they weren't getting, recruited very highly or heavily. And they're just guys that fit what we're trying to do. It's not always the best player. It's chemistry. It's fit. It's guys that want to go to a place, away from things where basketball is really, really important. It's the focal point. And they can work on their game 24/7, besides going to class.
One thing I've noticed consistently is your alums are incredibly passionate. They may be small in numbers, but they're extremely loyal. They show up, whether it's at home, on the road, neutral site. How would you describe your fan base?
Unbelievable. I knew when I first got the job here, I knew that basketball is really important, and they had a fan base and so forth. I had no idea it was like this. I think my first or second year, we went to Central Arkansas to play, and I don't even know where Central Arkansas was. And, I go out, before the game, and I look out, and we got like 100 people. And I'm like, where the heck did these people come from? Wherever we go, it's a religion here. People, it's a basketball school. We've had great tradition, since back in the 50s. And it's one of the reasons why it's such a great job, and it's a place that I really enjoy coaching, because it's really, really important. The fan base is rampant. It's a fan base that no matter how you're doing, win or lose, they're always with you. And only in New York in the wintertime, there's one thing to do, and that's go to the Riley Center and watch Bonaventure basketball. And, last year we went down to Charleston and won that tournament down there. And, we had like 1,500 Bonaventure alums down there, and we only have 30,000, overall. And it feels like we have, 3 million.
What's that pressure like, though? Because while that's great that there's so much interest, you are the face of the athletic department. How do you handle that?
There's pressure, but there's no more pressure. They want to win, but and the school wants to win, but I want to win just as badly. So there's not pressure. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I think the university has its priorities in order. They understand. We don't have the biggest budget. We don't have the best facility. They understand that there's some years that we're not going to be as good as other years. But hopefully, we're better, more times than not. But it's a fun place to coach. It's really, really important. The Rally Center is always sold out. I always say there's nothing better than a Saturday night in the Rally Center. It's the talk of the town when people say, you go to the game tonight. Only in New York, there's one game, and that's Bonaventure basketball.
So the identity of this team transfers regardless of personnel. What is it?
Toughness. I think if you watch a Bonaventure team play, it's a team that plays extremely hard, a team that plays together, and a team that I think enjoys competing. We don't have always the best players, the biggest players, but I think, when someone plays the Bonaventure, I think they know they're in a game, and they have to play well to beat us.
So this team this year, what does this group have to do to compete for an A10 title?
It's funny, Andy. We lost 5 starters. One went to the pros, and then 4 went into the portal. So we have a whole new team. We have 3 guys that are returning, and we have those 3 guys. Believe they scored 4 points and 2 rebounds. So it's we went out into the portal, and our philosophy was, we don't have a lot of NIL money. So our philosophy was to try to get kids that have success at a lower level. So we got, the rookie of the year in the Patriot League, and the rookie of the year in the Northeast Conference, and Daryl Banks that, scored 27 against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. We get those types of guys, that aren't looking for a big payday, are looking to play at a higher level and show that they can do that. So it's going to be a transition, especially for the coaching staff, even for the fans, like, who are these guys that are playing, because of, the guys that left, for the most part played for 4 years, and they played a lot of minutes for us. So it's going to be a process. I think we have really good young talent. I think is going to, as we go along in the season, is going to get better and better. But they have to learn the system, and it's not an easy system to learn. But I think it's good for me. I'm 59 years old, and I think having new guys, and it rejuvenates me a little bit as well. So it's going to be a fun way to play. We're going to run sets. We're going to try to out execute the opponent, and I think we have some players that can do that.
You have consistently tried to get the program to play in the metro area, whether that's Newark, New York City, Long Island. What does it mean to the Bonaventure program faithful to make sure you play a game, in one of the boroughs?
Yeah, we always try to do that. We have a huge alumni base, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. So, we play Fordham in the Atlantic 10, but sometimes it's, we only play them once, and it's at our place. But it's really, really important for us to get down to the metro area. And this year we're playing Notre Dame in Iona. But it's really in Fordham. So it's really important for us to get down there. That's where all the boosters are, and most of the boosters, where the money is. And that's where the hardcore fans are.
And Mark, finally about Notre Dame. Obviously, you know this better than anyone. It's incredibly difficult to get programs from a Power 5 like an ACC to come to Olean. So how critical is it to play a team like Notre Dame on a neutral court, especially in the New York area?
Yeah, it's really, no one will come to Olean, New York to play, and I wish they did. It would be a great experience for them as well as for us. But to be able to play, Notre Dame, ACC team, a very successful program. Mike Bray's done a tremendous job. I think he's been there longer than I've been at Bonaventure. But be able to play those types of teams on a neutral site, and it gives you, a better chance of competing, rather than going to Notre Dame. And I think we've tried to do that, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Is as we've gotten better, we've had more chances to play in neutral site arenas, NBA arenas. So it helps us recruiting wise, helps us with our alumni base, with fundraising. So it's extremely important, and Notre Dame is Notre Dame. It's a international name. And we're really looking forward to playing them, and I know our fans are looking forward to the game.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much, Andy. I appreciate it.